Astrology news for November 25, 2022. At 1:24 a.m. The Moon is square Neptune. After midnight, the Sagittarius Moon squares off with Neptune in Pisces, provoking confusion. Strange interactions leave us baffled. Optimism makes us vulnerable to those who would exploit us. Many of us will be asleep at this hour, and our dreams can be disquieting. Nightmare scenarios will have more to do with ill-fated choices than encountering shadowy villains. We can awake out of sorts, skeptical of our own intuition. At 11:22 a.m., the Moon is square Jupiter, and the moon void of course begins. The cosmic weather is then quiet until before noon when the Moon squares Jupiter in Pisces. We are still feeling energetically off, and therefore, more likely to seek out distraction to compensate for our dis-ease. Extravagant behavior or caving to vices is cautioned against. Attempting to fix something to counteract weird vibes will only compound the issue. The Moon then begins a short void of course following this aspect's perfection. At 1:18 p.m., the Moon enters Capricorn, and the moon void of course ends. After noon, the Moon enters Capricorn, ending its short void of course. Over the next 2 days, we feel as though the clock is ticking. An awareness of time, or even our own mortality, prompts us to lay foundations to support the life we want to lead and the legacy we wish to leave behind. This may not be the most gregarious lunar period, but we can make progress in career or relationship goals by taking the practical approach and putting in the work. At 1:33 p.m. Venus is square Juno. Following this, Venus in Sagittarius squares off with Juno in Pisces, complicating relationship dynamics. If we are partnered, we now question our desires. Previously established contracts are called into question. We see someone for who they are, noticing dimensions of their personality that we overlooked in a romantic haze. Alternatively, we could discover that some of our partner's priorities, spiritual proclivities, or ideological beliefs do not fundamentally gel well with our own. This confrontation forces us to rework some of our projections and preconceptions. While this is not necessarily a breakup indicator, it is a time when we must face reality. If we are single, this can be a time of determining whether we are looking for a short-term love affair or a long-term bond. Conversations with potential partners may be necessary. At 4:51 p.m. Venus is trine Chiron. Before nightfall, Venus trines Chiron in Aries. This influence mitigates the discord spurred by the Venus-Juno square. We can discuss triggers or insecurities in a way that engenders healing rather than further inflames tensions. In fact, during a heart-to-heart, we may realize that certain of our non-negotiables are actually defense mechanisms that have prevented us from getting close enough to someone to be hurt by them. This valuable aspect facilitates understanding between ourselves and others, enabling us to erect safer emotional and relational boundaries. 3 Juno is a large asteroid discovered, in 1804, by German astronomer Carl Harding. It is one of the 20 largest asteroids and one of the 2 largest stony, S-type, asteroids, along with 15 Eunomia. It is estimated to contain 1% of the total mass of the asteroid belt. Juno was discovered on September 1, 1804, by Carl Ludwig Harding. It was the 3rd asteroid found, but was initially considered to be a planet. It was reclassified as an asteroid and minor planet during the 1850s. The old astronomical symbol of Juno, still used in astrology, is a scepter topped by a star. There were many graphic variants with a more elaborated scepter, such as sometimes tilted at an angle to provide more room for decoration. The generic asteroid symbol of a disk with its discovery number was introduced in 1852 and quickly became the norm. The scepter symbol was resurrected for astrological use in 1973. Juno is one of the larger asteroids, perhaps 1/10 by size and containing approximately 1% the mass of the entire asteroid belt. It is the second most massive S-type asteroid after 15 Eunomia. Even so, Juno has only 3% the mass of Ceres. The orbital period of Juno is 4.36578 years. The orbit of Juno is significantly elliptical with a small inclination, moving between Mars and Jupiter. Amongst S-type asteroids, Juno is unusually reflective, which may be indicative of distinct surface properties. This high albedo explains its relatively high apparent magnitude for a small object not near the inner edge of the asteroid belt. Juno can reach +7.5 at a favorable opposition, which is brighter than Neptune or Titan, and is the reason for it being discovered before the larger asteroids Hygiea, Europa, Davida, and Interamnia. At most oppositions, however, Juno only reaches a magnitude of around +8.7, only just visible with binoculars, and at smaller elongations a 3-inch (76 mm) telescope will be required to resolve it. It is the main body in the Juno family. Juno was originally considered a planet, along with 1 Ceres, 2 Pallas, and 4 Vesta. In 1811, Schroeter estimated Juno to be as large as 2,290 km in diameter. All 4 were reclassified as asteroids as additional asteroids were discovered. Juno's small size and irregular shape preclude it from being designated a dwarf planet. Juno orbits at a slightly closer mean distance to the Sun than Ceres or Pallas. Its orbit is moderately inclined at around 12 degrees to the ecliptic, but has an extreme eccentricity, greater than that of Pluto. This high eccentricity brings Juno closer to the Sun at perihelion than Vesta and further out at aphelion than Ceres. Juno had the most eccentric orbit of any known body until 33 Polyhymnia was discovered in 1854, and of asteroids over 200 km in diameter only 324 Bamberger has a more eccentric orbit. Juno rotates in a prograde direction with an axial tilt of approximately 50 degrees. The maximum temperature on the surface, directly facing the Sun, was measured at about 293 K on 2 October 2001. Taking into account the heliocentric distance at the time, this gives an estimated maximum temperature of 301 K, plus 28 degrees Celsius, at perihelion. Spectroscopic studies of the Junonian surface permit the conclusion that Juno could be the progenitor of chondrites, a common type of stony meteorite composed of iron-bearing silicates such as olivine and pyroxene. Infrared images reveal that Juno possesses an approximately 100 km wide crater or ejecta feature, the result of a geologically young impact. Based on MIDAS infrared data using the Hale telescope, an average radius of approximately 140 was reported in 2004. If you are feeling energetically off, you can try singing Hu as in Human. Hu is an ancient name for God, and singing God's name is a way to increase the amount of the Holy Spirit we receive from God, the Sat Nam. We can receive the Holy Spirit and we can also ride the wave of the Holy Spirit back to its source, traversing the physical, astral, causal, mental and etheric planes of existence to arrive at the atmic plane in consciousness and beingness. Anytime you feel alone or feel that your energies are imbalanced, just sing, Hu. God is always with you. Thank you for watching Astrology News. Please like, share and subscribe and have a stellar day.